welcome to another episode of Tech-Lax, the webcast. My name is Owen, and joining me, retired from the NLL, is Travis Cornwall. How's it going, Travis?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's interesting to talk about being retired now. I haven't made an official announcement. I put a little post on my Instagram about sailing off into the sunset or sailing off into the Amazon, and nothing official, but it's good to say it out loud.
Yeah, no, totally. Probably well deserved, too.
Thanks.
Yeah, you've had a fair amount of time in the NLL, so. What?
Yeah, more than ever. When I got drafted, I always thought like, oh, if I could play 5 years, that would be awesome. So, and I made it 11. So, yeah.
Perfect. Alright. Alright, that kind of relates into our first question here. Why did you feel like it was your time to retire?
I don't know. I got a lot of other things going on in my life, so they were starting to take over. I coached the Junior A Saints here in Poco, and that's kind of turned into a 24/7 job some weeks. And that plus my job teaching, I started my master's degree in high performance coaching and technical leadership at UBC last June. So just a lot of other things. I got injured. My season last year got ended due to injury. Tore my meniscus trying to hit Mark Matthews.
Ooh.
So, when you're second, I was planning on that being my second to last season. So when your second to last season ends in injury, usually it just becomes your last season, or at least that's what I've been telling people. So
Yeah, that's fair. I actually, when I was playing, I ripped my meniscus and tore my ACL a couple years back.
oh, the combo. Yeah, I've never torn my ACL. Just I've done my meniscus in both knees. So
Yeah, no, it wasn't fun. I was off. I was out for a little while.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Who is your favorite team to play for?
I don't know. I think Calgary was a very unique experience amongst the teams that I played for, especially, I'm going in there as a rookie, coming out of junior A lacrosse, 20, 21, 22 years old. One nice part about playing there is I lived in the city for 3 of the 4 years that I was playing there during the season. So that made the experience really interesting. You got to go to all different sorts of like TV news broadcasts and radio things and doing all the appearances for the team. So that, especially, and with the fans, the way the teams embraced there as well, really made it a cool experience. So if I had to pick one, it would definitely be Calgary. Saskatchewan and their fan base was obviously really cool as well. But by that time, I'm 8 years, 7 years into my career, so I'm pretty used to being an NLL player.
Yeah,
And I think I would say living in the city, living in Market really made the difference there.
yeah,
Just that constant exposure to the fans. We ran Andrew McBride had a school program,
yeah.
and me and a couple of the guys there facilitated it. So I got to go around and meet all the kids around Calgary in their elementary school classrooms, and that was really cool. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, they do a lot of cool things. Like Zach Currier was just on the news a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. So me and Joe Resiteris were on there one time.
Yeah,
I can't remember Global Morning News or whatever, but it was just super cool to be like. It's kind of weird to say as a person who played in the NLL and has been on like live game broadcasts, but it was cool to be on TV, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, if you could add any new rule to the game of lacrosse, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. The last podcast I was on, we had a long discussion about the dunk goals, and I guess it wouldn't be adding a rule, but it would just be making the referees call what is in the rule book and not allowing guys to touch the post or the goalie as the ball kind of goes in the net. So to me, your stick is an extension of your body,
Yeah,
and the goalie and the goalpost is just an extension of the crease. So you can't touch those before the ball goes in the net. So I would I'm fine with guys scoring from behind the net, but it's just a matter of them jamming their stick against the post in order to get the ball to come out of their stick. If we required them to, actually shoot the ball from those positions, it would make those plays even more athletic. So, yeah.
yeah, no, totally. Some of the behind the net stuff can get pretty aggressive.
Mhm.
Uh, who is one lacrosse player you absolutely loved playing with?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Like I'm thinking about my Calgary days now, and I'll name a guy kind of for a different reason. I love playing with Curtis Dixon because back then, especially because that meant that I didn't have to play against him. So
Yeah.
that's probably I love playing with him because then you don't have to play against him, and he was making a lot of guys look really silly. He still is now, but especially back then. Teammates wise, there's a lot of guys that come to mind right away. A lot of veterans that I had, along the course of my 11-year career. I think of guys like Andrew McBride from back then and Mike Poulin. Guys, when I moved to Vancouver, there's Curtis Hodgson and Joel McCready, Garrett Billings, guys that I really enjoyed being around. Always had a great perspective on the game and life, and like really made younger players feel comfortable, on the team. And especially, like I said before, as a young player moving to market, guys like Andrew McBride really made me feel comfortable and, were a really big part of, my transition to the NLL. So kudos to them for sure. Lots of
Nice.
thanks.
And here's another question that isn't on the list. What was it like playing against your brother for so many years?
Oh, that's it was interesting. Like we don't, as we're both defenders, so we don't run into each other very much on the floor. But yeah, I go way back. First year in the NLL, my brother hit Curtis Dixon in one of our last regular season games, and I can't remember what the issue was. It was something he'd hit him, and he had something wrong with his shoulder. And I hope Curtis doesn't mind me saying that. It was 12 years ago. Hopefully that doesn't give a book on any of his injuries or anything like that. But he sat out our first round game against Calgary in the playoffs, and we ended up losing that game by like 6, 7, 8 goals, something like that. Edmonton really, and that was after beating Edmonton twice in the regular season and twice in the regular season, preseason, and 4 times in the regular season that year, and they beat us pretty handily in the playoffs. And I remember, I think it was Jeff Shatler and Dane Doby tried to fight my brother at the end of the game. That's just it's great. Playing against my brother was great. That's just an interesting story that comes to mind when I kind of reflect on my career now. And yeah, no, I remember we would meet. We weren't living together at that point, so we would meet during the week after our games and stuff and talk about how the week went. And that was a big topic of conversation. So yeah, that week.
Nice. Yeah, funny thing, you're retired now and your brother's playing for Calgary.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So I know, he loved his time in Saskatchewan and
Yeah.
Edmonton. And then when that expansion draft came up, getting picked up and then traded, that was he'd been traded early on. He played for Buffalo early in his career for, I can't remember, 6 or 8 games, something like that, before getting traded to Edmonton. So I don't think he was really used to getting traded though in the NLL. So it was kind of an interesting experience,
Yeah.
having to land a new space, especially having gotten so comfortable in Saskatchewan and Edmonton. So
Yeah.
yeah, with the rush.
Okay. What is the best cereal in your opinion?
Cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. The only cereal I eat is Vector.
Yeah.
So I guess that must be near the top of the list. Like what would I love if there was no consequences for eating it?
Yeah.
I'd like to eat like Cinnamon Toast Crunch every day. I used to put that on my vanilla ice cream. That's a good combo.
Ooh, that would be
If
good.
anyone's looking for something like that. I don't know. It's not good for you, but yeah.
No, but it would sure taste good anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Alright, you can move in with any teammate for a week. Who is it?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I kind of have to restrict so many teammates over the years, right? Like I think of guys. There's guys that I've played with that if like I was like roommates with them for a week, like not during the season, it would be like we'd be away on vacation somewhere. So that would be really cool. Like a guy like Jacob Rouet in Vegas. He was just down. I was in South America, and at the same time, he was in Patagonia right before the season started. So maybe we could be roommates in Patagonia down there and have a good time.
Sounds like a good time for sure. Okay. The best non-lacrosse athlete to make the best box player.
So non-lacrosse athlete to be a
Yeah.
lacrosse player.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them would have the hands for it right away. That's the tough part. So they'd have to play defense, I guess. Like everyone would go to LeBron, I guess, probably in this question right away. Like, big, strong, fast, athletic. That's an easy answer. Let's take, you know what? I'll go off the cuff here and I'll pick whoever the biggest, like Vince Wilfork, NFL lineman, and I'll put him in goal.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Best game day experience you have had?
Calgary, we were in the NLL finals. What year would have that been? 2014. It was a 2-game series back then against Rochester, and we had game 1 at home. It was sold out, 19,000 fans. There's probably more fans there for the first warm up than there was for most games anywhere else in the league. So there's probably like 10, 12,000 fans there for the first warm up. So that was kind of weird. You come out, you're used to there being like, 100, 200, 300 people there for first warm up. So, I'm looking up in the stands. I'm thinking, I'm not even warmed up yet. Like, these people are all here watching me. Like, I'm not even ready to go. So, 19,000 fans sold out. That was a pretty cool experience. We won. We didn't end up winning the series, but we won that game. So it was fun to be able to do that in front of our home fans. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, I've heard the current coach being like, the fans are like an extra man on the field.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's only grown since I was there. Like, the year that I got there was the year that the Flames bought the organization. So, it's just been, it was great before then, right? One of the kind of stalwart franchises in the league. And, they've only grown it since that point. I remember when I was first there, you'd see Calgary Roughnecks advertisements during Sunday football, like watching on Global TV or something. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, they're advertising our games. So, they've done a really good job there.
Yeah, no. Now I see Calgary ads every time I go watch YouTube now.
Okay, there you go. Good. That's a little bit more targeted marketing there too, right? There you go. Take advantage. Yeah. I like that.
Game-winning treat of choice.
Oh, this is pretty easy. So there's probably like a 4 or 5 year span of my career where I'd bring fuzzy peaches, watermelons, and like there was this like grapefruit watermelon shaped candy. I'd bring a little bag of those, and if we won the game, sometimes it was just me, but a lot of the times I was roommates with Marty Dinsdale. So after the game, we'd break those out and dig in, after a win. So that's definitely the treat of choice.
Sweet, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's always something nice to have something to look forward to. You're playing the game, you're like, hey, I get something waiting for me back in the hotel room. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, if you could vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go and who would you go with?
Okay. Well, once I figured out that I was retiring this year, I actually took off to South America for a month. So I was in Ecuador and Peru. So I was in Galapagos. I went to the Amazon.
Nice.
I was surfing down in Huanchaco, which was really cool in Peru, and then went to Machu Picchu. So I guess now, if you ask me that question now, I wouldn't go back to those places. I'd like to go somewhere else and see somewhere else. But if you had asked me that question 3 months ago, I would have definitely said going to South America. So I'm going to stick with that. And I went with my girlfriend, so
nice.
I take her. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Now we enter a rapid 1 minute question game, where it's this or that, and you want the most time left possible.
Okay, so it's a time thing. Okay, but what happens if like I like my answer a lot? Like if I got to answer right too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna start the timer.